Rahim, Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Sadaf Waris, Assistant Professor from the Department of Pathology, the Saeed Medical and Dental College, Lahore. Today we are going to start with the chapter of immune system. Immune system is the basic defense system of our body that protects us from harmful pathogens and diseases. By end of this lecture, you should be able to understand the basic mechanism um, underlying the body fighting pathogens and to understand the components of the immune response. First of all, we should know the basic definition of immunity. Immunity is defined as the ability of body to eradicate the potentially harmful pathogens and abnormal cells. Our body is constantly under a threat from foreign pathogens that can cause havoc if not confronted with an appropriate response well in time. These are some of the basic terminologies that we will come across while going through this chapter. So immunity is the capability of body to resist harmful microorganisms from entering our body. And the immune system is defined as a system that is comprised of collection of cells, tissues, and molecules that mediate resistance to the infection. An immune response is the collective and coordinated reaction of immune cells to infection-causing microbes. So let's start with the overview of immune system. The overall function of immune system is to prevent or limit infections. When the immune system first recognizes invasion by pathogen, it responds to address that problem. If an immune response cannot be activated when there is sufficient need, problems arise like infections and other diseases. On the other hand, when an immune response is activated without a real threat and is not turned off, once the danger passes, again, different problems can arise, such as allergic reactions and autoimmune diseases. Let's look at the basic structure of the immune system. The immune system is comprised of three layers of the defense that protects our body from various types of the attacks from microorganisms and even non-living things like toxins and metals, etc. Each layer is comprised of different mechanisms of immunity, and when one layer is breached or invaded, the mechanism of the layer below it comes into action until the attack is finally and successfully controlled. The first and the basic layer of human immune system is the barrier immunity, below which is the innate immunity, and finally we have the adaptive immune system. Let's decode these terms one by one to understand the basic structure of human immune system. When a pathogen evades our barrier immunity and is successful in gaining entry to our body, in that case, the microorganism is met by our next layer of defense system or immune system, and this is known as the innate immune response. The word innate is made up of two words, in and nate. In means inside and nate means born with. So this means something you are born with. This is called as the innate immunity because it is present in our body since our birth. However, this is in comparison with the third layer of immunity that develops only after we are born. The second line, the second line of defense is a non-specific. This means it does not have the special mechanism of action for different types of pathogens. So the innate immune system is comprised of cellular and humoral components. Cellular components include natural killer cells, macrophages, neutrophils, dendritic cells, mast cells, eosinophils, etc. And the humoral components, they include the complement system, coagulation system, and cytokines. Complement system is a set of about 20 proteins, and it is named so as it complements the action of the antibodies and other cells in destroying pathogen. The adaptive immune response is also known as the acquired immune response, and it is comprised of the highly specialized systemic cells that eliminate the pathogen. It is not present since birth, and it is created in response to exposure to foreign body. That is why the name adaptive immunity, as it adapts according to the type of the threat that we are exposed to. So this is just a brief overview of the whole immune system, just to make you understand. These are the three defense. These are three layers of immune system. First and second, they come under the heading. These are the non-specific defenses. And the third line of defense, the acquired or the adaptive immune system. This is the more specific kind of defense. So this is a brief overview of the whole immune system, just to make you understand. First of all, an invading pathogen has to face the external defenses like skin, mucous membranes, and secretions. Once these external defenses are breached, then the internal defenses they come into play. The internal defenses these include the phagocytic cells, antimicrobial proteins, inflammatory response, natural killer cells, and complement system. This whole scenario makes up our first and second line of defense, and they come under the heading of the innate immunity. If these both fails to eradicate the pathogen, then comes the acquired or the adaptive immune response. Adaptive or acquired immune response is a slow response to pathogen as compared to the innate immune system. And this adaptive or acquired immune system, it includes antibodies and cytotoxic T lymphocytes, which help to combat the pathogen. Now let's discuss the properties of adaptive and innate immune system. Specificity. Innate immune system is a non-specific and it recognizes structures shared by different classes of microbes. Adaptive immune response is it is a specific one, and in terms that it requires structural details of the microbial molecules to get activated. Receptors. They have their specific receptors as shown in the table. Innate immune response is a rapid one, while the adaptive immune response, it takes some time to respond to the invading microbe. In adaptive immune response, memory cells are made in order to recognize the pathogen next time whenever it is encountered. However, in case of the innate immunity, no such memory cells are made. Innate can discriminate between body own cells and tissues and the pathogen, whereas the adaptive immune response may sometimes fail to discriminate between self and non-self and can give rise to autoimmunity, which means that our body's immune system start attacking our own body tissues mistakenly. The mechanical barriers in innate host defenses could be, the anatomical barriers. In innate host defenses, these might include the mechanical, chemical, and biological. So let's see what these mechanical, chemical, and biological barriers are. The mechanical barrier or the mechanical factors include skin, mucociliary escalators, the fluid action, the flushing action of the saliva, tears, and urine. All these contribute towards limiting the entry of microbes in our body. So then there are certain chemical factors or chemical substances in our body secretions, like the antimicrobial peptides, which are present in sweat, hydrochloric acid in stomach, and lysozyme in tears and saliva, which constantly keeps on eliminating any microbe. Next come the biological factors. This includes normal flora, present in many parts of our body, as for example, oral flora. These flora competes with pathogen for nutrients and space. Thus, in this competition, the microbe is usually eliminated. Now coming towards the humoral components, and this includes the complement, coagulation system, and cytokine. So this humoral components of the innate immune system, these include the complement, coagulation system, lactoferrin, transferrin, lysozyme, and cytokine. Each of these components act through their specific mechanism of action. This is a schematic diagram that shows the cells of the immune system. And undifferentiated, this shown in green color, stem cell, it is differentiated into lymphoid stem cell, shown in blue color. Here it is shown in blue color, and the lymphoid progenitor, yellow, indicated by yellow cell. The lymphoid stem cells, they differentiate into lymphocytes, which then they are further subclassified as B cells, T cell progenitor, and natural killer cells. So these T cell progenitor, they will give rise to the T helper cells. H stands for the helper, and C stands for the cytotoxic cells. And the B cell progenitor, they will give rise to the memory cells and plasma cells, which then form the antibodies. Then the myeloid progenitors, which are indicated by yellow color here. These myeloid progenitor, then they give rise to the granulocytes, which include the neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, mast cells, and monocytes. The monocytes are further subclassified into macrophages and dendritic cells. So this is a pictorial representation of some immune cells in order to make it easy to remember. So the cellular components of the innate immune system, these include the neutrophils, macrophages, antigen presenting cells, natural killer cells, and eosinophils. We will briefly discuss them one by one. That's all for today. Thank you so much.